from the Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
It is Gwen Stefani Friday.
Yes!
We love celebrating new music. We're always looking for reasons to celebrate. How about a new album from Gwen Stefani?
Yes.
The album is Bouquet. And she's in town here in New York City. She's got lots going on. I have friends flying in from the West Coast to be a part of something going on.
Okay.
Something we weren't invited to.
Hold on.
We'll get to the bottom of this. Please welcome the one and only Gwen Stefani.
Yay!
Where is she? Bring her in. There she is. There it is. You deserve a standing O.
Oh my God, thank you.
A standing O. Come on in.
Hi.
How do you turn this thing
Coming
on?
in so early.
You don't have to.
She smells amazing.
Oh
Stop
my
sniffing
gosh,
the guest.
thank you.
Oh my
Okay.
I
goodness.
showered.
A couple of warnings. First of all, you got to stay close to the microphone. So you don't need those
I
headphones.
think I know how to work a mic. Let's see.
I'm sorry. Another thing is,
No, I'm kidding. Like, I need all the instructions in the world right now. This has been an early wake-up call for
well,
me.
so far you're doing well, but it's only been 10 seconds. When all guests walk past Danielle, she sniffs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ooh, good to know. You should have told me that earlier.
But you smell amazing.
Okay,
Jason
good.
Derulo is the best smelling person I've ever had come by me.
Oh, really?
But you're up there. You
All
smell
right.
beautiful.
Yes. Thank you.
This is one of those things only a woman could get away with.
Yeah.
Because if we had a dude sitting in that seat who was like, Gwen Stefani. Be a little weird.
Yeah, see, attorneys involved. Okay, so as I said before you came in, we all need reasons to celebrate. Having a new album is pretty darn good reason to celebrate.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's been
Try being me right now.
Yay.
It's like the greatest thing ever.
okay. I'm going to try being
No,
you
I'm
right
saying,
now.
like, I mean, you don't know how long I've wanted this. Like, I had this little voice inside me going, make a record. You can do it. And I'm like, I don't think I need to do that.
Is
Like,
that
why
how it
would I
works?
do that now? I have so many songs. Like,
This is a gross comparison, but
Okay.
is it the need to put out an album? Is it like the pimple that needs popping? You know what I'm saying?
it didn't feel like that. It felt a little bit more like, it's really hard to. It's a little more spiritual than a pimple pop.
Okay, all right.
It feels like I remember the first time I wrote a song and I was like, I look back and I'm like, oh, there's wings back there. Like, I didn't know I could fly. You know what I'm saying? And I wrote this song like nobody taught me. Like, it just came out of me. So it's like you find your gift inside you, your purpose, and then when you don't do that for a while, you just feel like I need to do it again because that makes me feel like I'm doing something in the world good. You know what I mean? So I just needed to write music. I felt like.
You know what's so important about what you're saying, and everyone driving to work right now, coming from a house to an office to a school to drop kids off, this and that. Sometimes they wonder, well, what's my calling? What's my thing? What do I have that's already on board that I have not discovered yet? You discovered that song. You discovered your music.
Before that, I was literally like this floating, like, oh my God, I love Tony. Like, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like a girl that had nothing. Like, I wasn't going anywhere. I was just existing, didn't have big dreams, nothing. And once I did it, it was like, oh my gosh, this is like, well, first I found identity, through music, finding music like Madness and The Selector and all these like underground ska bands at the time back in the day when I was like 15, you know what I mean? But then it was like when the songwriting happened, it was like, oh my gosh, because people don't really know this about me, but I'm dyslexic. So I have a really hard time in school as a child, like trying to figure out, I'm just looking around and nothing. Everyone seems to be doing something that I don't get, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? And so and it's not like I didn't fit in socially or anything like that, but it was more like it was just harder for me. So I think that being able to find music and have no rules, no spelling, no grammar, just my heart and just trying to express myself, and then being able to do it, and then those songs, like, they speak back to you, like they because I feel like I receive them. I don't feel responsible for them. I pray for them. They come if they're meant to, and then when I share them, it's like I'm like this vessel. So that's why it's not like a pimple.
Pimple's a vessel.
Pimples can be very fulfilling as well.
But I just love the fact, and going back to what I was saying a second ago, is a lot of people, including me, a lot of us are still looking for that thing. I know in the past 4 years, your world has been it's been this whirlwind of incredible things. You got married. I mean, you have this new incredible life that you were just open for. I think you have to be open for it to happen. Any creativity that we have that's in there, you got to be open to let it come out, right?
That is true. And there was a lot of, it's so fun to be in the future of your life and kind of be able to look back and discover, like, how did those things happen? Like, from like the first song, making the first song, first record, then like going on tour and becoming like we literally did Just a Girl video and walked to the airport and didn't come home for 2.5 years. Like we toured, we toured for so long, and I had never been anywhere before that. Like I lived at my parents' house.
What a shock!
It was really like extreme, and then coming back and being like, okay, like I need to be a great songwriter, and this is what I do, and you know what I mean? Like, and also going into like, it was my return to Saturn, like, okay, I'm 29 now, like, who am I? Like, reflection, but each record has its own journey, and for me, I'm really slow. Like, I'm a slow processor, like, I feel like every project takes forever, until you start getting in that zone, and then it's like rabbit hole, like fast.
Oh, you're taking time with it versus being slow. It's the same thing, I guess, but
this time was like, it was a little bit like, and it wasn't just the last 4 years. I feel like it was more like the last 8 years, 9 years of just, from like the explosion of like the turmoil of losing my entire family, like my whole family breaking up, right, and having to pick up the pieces from that, and like, how do you do that? Because it's not just a breakup, you know what I mean? It's a breakup of, there's so many people involved, and you're responsible for that, Right. And so that was it was just an awful, horrible time, and to then suddenly like turn the other direction and see love, like what? Like that was just so unexpected. It was such a blessing, an unexpected one that just turned my life around. And I don't feel like I ever truly, and I know my own life, I never felt love like that before, ever. So for me,
everyone deserves it.
Everyone deserves it, and I think everybody can choose to receive it and give it, and be open to it. But it was just like you said, being open to it. I didn't even feel like, I remember like everyone going, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with this guy? You could feel the energy that it didn't make sense that me and Blake would be together, because it didn't even make sense to me, really, It's like,
does it now?
It made sense. Well, it kind of made sense immediately, like in that weird, like, kind of like, even to my parents, I remember thinking, I know that they're going to be like, what are you doing? But I'm going to be like, it's fine, because when you see us together, you're going to see, like, I get to be me now. Like, I'm me. Yeah. And you're going to like it. You're going to like how we are. So it was just a really amazing blessing.
I love hearing this.
If you looked at your life like years ago and someone said, one day you're going to be on the farm and you're going to have this and you're going to have that, you would have probably been like, what?
No,
what?
I still do it all the time. And I remember one time, like, when me and Blake first got together, and he would never ever take off his cowboy boots. Like, cowboy boots for me were like, just like, it was a foreign word. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't even,
or sometimes,
it's a different language.
A fashion statement, if you wanted to be.
It was so far away from the reality of my life that I'd never touched a cowboy boot before. You know what I mean? Like, it was, and so,
you make it sound like it's icky. Ew.
It was just so foreign. It was so foreign.
It's supposed to be. That's the whole point.
Yeah. And so, long story short, I can remember the day that like they were like sitting there at the end of the bed, and I was like, oh my God, I just made out with someone with like cowboy boots. That's so weird.
I love that.
But it was so right. And being in Oklahoma, like, like we were talking about traveling the world, and that was one of the biggest blessings of my life, because, if you don't get to do that, you don't grow. Like, you do grow, but you stay in a bubble, right? And so being able to see that, especially through music, seeing that, one of my favorite stories, I'm totally like going from different subjects to subjects, sorry.
No,
but it's so exciting this morning.
Caffeine is fabulous.
Yeah, it's so good. Can someone get me another coffee? No, I remember going around to all these different places all in Europe, and then, it was crazy. Like, it's insane. This is in the 90s, and we were in Israel, right? And the Holy Land, like, we were there, and we were in a van, and we had been exhausted, this is no doubt, and this guy comes up. We were in a van, and all these like guys come up with guns, right? Like machine gun kind of. I'd never seen a gun before, but we were in Israel, right? And the guys are looking in the van to check out like a path, like we were supposed to go through this, like, I don't know,
like a checkpoint
kind of thing. And the guy looks at me. He looks at me. He goes, "Don't speak," and he starts singing me the song.
Wow.
And I was like,
hold
"Wait a minute!"
on. The guy with the machine gun is saying, "Don't speak."
And I was like, "Oh my gosh! Like this guy knows me. He knows me." Like, and
that must have been one of those weird moments that you'll never, ever forget. Ever.
I love telling that story because that is the power of not only suffering, right? Because that song is about suffering, and then writing about it, and then not thinking anyone would ever hear it, and then I'm in a foreign land, and some guy knows it, and he relates to it, and that's why I wanted to make new music. Like, how do I not want to do that again?
Yeah.
You need more guns and more boots. And you know what? And there you are in Oklahoma, and Blake's frying a turkey for Thanksgiving. I hear.
Wait, I'm guessing you own your own cowboy boots now.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course he does.
Well, that's what's so funny about this record too, because I'm wearing a cowboy hat, and I'm not wearing it because now I'm a cowboy or a cowgirl, or that I'm doing a country record. Of course not. You know, it's a love. It's like putting on your husband's, like, you know, and saying, "This is look at now I'm yours." You know what I mean? So yeah.
By the way, Gwen Stefani, if you're just turning us on, and this will be played back later on the best ofs, Bouquet is the new album. It's out today. Which is kind of ironic that Blake has music out today too.
It was not planned. Not at all planned.
Oh, come on.
I promise you, because you can ask anyone. He just cut that song like a couple weeks ago. He just cut the song a couple weeks ago.
Pick up your headphones for a second.
Okay, what am I doing?
I want you to hear something.
Okay,
is there going to be healthy competition between the two of you?
Can we just pause for a minute and say, I love you guys. Thank you for being so kind to me.
Of course.
We
love you.
We were so excited. Release day. Like, I'm celebrating with you.
Oh, no, you've got lots to do. Okay, there's a knob here that turns one of them turns it up.
Check. 1, 2. I can feel you, yeah.
Okay, so we said, wouldn't it be funny if we had Gwen Stefani come all the way up here? She's going to be all glammed up, and we do nothing but talk about her husband's new song.
Are you going to play it?
No, just...
He's probably in Texas, Amarillo, all I know, George Strait said it. Yeah, that's where all them exes go if she ain't with me.
It's a song about my home state, Texas, just below your state.
I know that.
So Froggy, right there, Froggy is he's on our show. He's in Jacksonville. He's a huge country program director.
Why are you just introducing him to me now? Like, we've been ignoring him this whole time.
Well, you know, it's a process we go through.
Okay.
So when you first heard Texas, you're like, oh my God. And I said, they're coming at the same day as her album. This is kind of weird, I think.
It is so good. I know Blake's on a new record label. It's his first release with this new label, and it really is a great song. And we're playing it every single hour today here.
Wow, Froggy. This is crazy. And you know what? Blake is an actual unicorn because, like, he doesn't even try. Like, he's the most humble, like, just not trying guy. He just absorbs, like, love. It's the craziest thing.
Didn't he say, like, Post Malone was the one that, like, made him want to make music again?
Yeah, I mean, we're just sitting there one day, and he's like, "Oh, Post just wrote and wants me to be on his song." I was like, "What?" Like, I've been waiting for that call my whole life.
I can see Gwen. What about me?
I'm like, what?
Okay, we really should talk about your album.
Yeah.
I think we've given.
It doesn't matter. Like,
Blake-
we're married. We're promoting each
Well,
other.
I know, but the people from your company are looking at me like, can you talk about our album? There is the business part of that. All right, so Bouquet, of course, out today. There is a song in there. We're going to play both Someone Else's and Bouquet. So I went through and analyzed the lyrics for Someone Else's. This is, you're letting it all hang out about your past marriage.
Might as well.
Yeah, well, okay.
Listen, you got to, like, share. We're tribal, right? Like, we all need each other so much to heal, to relate to each other, to understand that we're not alone, that, like, this stuff happens and then you can get better. And, like, I didn't intend to really go back and, like, I don't want to go backwards. You know what I mean? In fact, a lot of the time when I was trying to get this record, I was trying to go backwards. Like I was circling these cul-de-sacs of like, oh, maybe I'll be like reggae again, or you know what I mean? Trying to be nostalgic and try to find who I am, like musically now that represents who I am.
Right.
But I think that with this song, lyrically, it wasn't even really my idea. We were writing a lot which I have like these different co-writers that I finally landed in the right space with these people, and one of the girls, Madison Love, like sent me the idea for this song, and I was like, "Oh no, we're not going."
In the
there.
beginning,
I was
you were
like,
like,
"That's
no."
bad energy. I'm just gonna let." But I really think that it really works on the album because it's first of all, it's the truth. Second of all, it shows how far this love has grown, like how much I've recovered, how much healing, and like you can't really see the light without the dark.
But Gwen,
you know?
there's more to it than that. It's so relatable because so many people have been or are going through or about to go through the same thing.
Yeah.
Lyrics from somebody else's. Now, okay, you know it's out. You can't hide from it. It's great though. Now that I've found the real thing, you don't compare, and I don't care that you're somebody else's, and it doesn't even break my heart.
This is the only negative song on the record, guys. Just saying.
I don't think it's negative at all.
It is. It's actually positive.
It doesn't break my heart that you're somebody
Yeah.
else's, and I pray for them, whoever they are.
Hi.
You got to be honest. You know what? People more than ever, we have BS detectors. We know when people are not being honest with us. How more honest can you be?
And it makes you human. It makes you, even though, you're Gwen Stefani, people go, oh, she doesn't have issues. She doesn't have problems. And then they look at that.
Have you heard my records?
Right.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Do you know what I mean? I've had a lot of problems.
Right? So this album is obviously, we've heard some of it, amazing. And there's this song that goes back into your past. I'm sure writing it feels good, getting it out feels good. But now you release it and it's like, oh, people are going to ask me questions about how this goes. Your kids might ask you questions. How are you navigating through that with all of this new hype?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. People are, right now, like you guys are my reality. Like I'm in this room. We don't know each other, but like something about me. Like I know I've heard you. I've worked with you before. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just very limited. But you are real to me, and I do care about you, and it's real. But all of that noise, whatever, I know the truth of what happened in my family. My kids know the truth of what happened in my family, and my kids can see the joy in me to be using my purpose, which is to write songs and be truthful and to try to contribute in some way to this world and have a purpose, because I am not really very good at anything else but just kind of rabbit hole, like diving into these obsessions with what bouquets was my obsession for the last 4 years, so wow. I don't know, I feel like I was built to sort of like, it doesn't really get to me too bad. Like maybe little things, if someone says something that I read maybe that is so the opposite of my actual character, that can mess with you.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
At
the
same time, because they have it wrong.
Right.
Yeah, right. And it's just, you want to go slap them. You know what I mean? You actually want to choke them and punch them, right? But it's
Absolutely.
like at the same and correct them. But at the same time, it's like reality's reality. You know what I mean?
I tell you what, Scary, our producer, pretend he's that person. I want you to slap him.
I've been working out, so watch out.
Slap him and then choke him.
Battering ram.
Also, in bouquet, there's a floral thing going on here. There's flowers involved here.
Is that bothering you?
No, not at all. Is there a connection that?
Well, there was like a lot of. I think not even just in this record, but in my life, like gardening has been a huge metaphor to life, right? And nature is. I think if you just look into nature, sometimes you can be healed by that. I think Oklahoma's done that for me in so many ways, because my nature was like the beach. I'm a California girl. Yeah. Like we didn't have we went to the park that was connected to the elementary school and the beach.
Oklahoma's a long way from home.
It is.
But now it's your home.
But I think the thing about like the idea that if you plant a seed, right, and that hope that you get, right, whether it's, if I'm thinking like literally planting a seed, which I do a lot because me and Blake garden a lot together, like large scale, like it's our thing. But it feels, ask anyone that gardens, like they've done studies on it, like people that garden live longer lives, like because it gives you this like this peaceful, hopeful thing that you're waiting for to see that blossom, right? And I think that I wanted to use that like idea in the idea of healing and finding love, and how that love grows and blossoms and changes, you know, and it will die out and it will rebloom, right? And so I think that like even like a song like Purple Irises talks so much about the insecurities of love, and like, you know, I have this love, but I'm getting older. What if he doesn't think I'm cute? Like, what if he doesn't? What if it gets taken away? Oh my God, I finally got it. It could go, you know. And so that song kind of talks about getting in your head, and that's why I think going down the road of like the flower thing is just because it's so real in my life. Like we picked these purple irises when we were in 2020, and we were on the ranch, and it was like pandemic, and the kids, we found these irises that had been like, you know, lost. Like someone had planted them like 100 years ago. You know what I mean?
They
and we were
just
like, wow,
up.
where are these from? Like we picked them, we transplanted them, and then years later, like they took over the garden. And so it just shows like love grows, you know? And
I love this.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, I tell you what, I know we only have a few moments with you, so we're going to play 2 songs. So
okay.
When we're done, no, they're going to drag you off to some insignificant thing.
Wait, could we play 3 songs? Cheer for the Elves as well.
Oh my God, good idea.
That's one of my favorite albums. Your Christmas album.
Thank you.
I love that
okay,
album.
thank you, Danielle. I guess we have to do that now.
You know
This is great.
hey, not to talk about Blake again, but you know that Blake covered Cheers for the Elves?
He did?
Yeah, he put it on his Christmas record.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Isn't that cool?
I hope
so
you charged
cool.
him a premium.
I was just honored, you know? Honored.
Well, look, Bouquet is out today. But what are you doing this weekend? You're in New York City. You've got things going on.
I'm in New York, yeah. You know, actually, is today Friday?
Yeah, it is.
I think tomorrow I'm in the city. I'm going to do, I'm not saying it, but I'm going to say it, that I'm going to be doing something.
Well, you still really haven't said it.
Yeah, I'm not, I mean,
Okay.
maybe just get creative. What do you think it could be?
It's got to be some
But
kind
I'm
of...
in the city. I have a new record.
And there's a party. It's going to be a party of some sort.
Okay.
I know people who are big fans of yours. They're flying in from the West Coast because you're doing something and they're coming to it and they're big fans.
Dang.
Super fans. Probably you need security because these people really like you. All right, so there's something going on. She can't talk about it, and she still hasn't. So...
Do we have like a location of the thing? Anything?
No,
Or we
I just want to wait till LA wakes up. You know?
Okay.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so considerate.
Thank you. I'm grateful for many things in life, and one of them is to be able to bring the gift of our favorite artist to our listeners who are listening right now. And now they're like, okay.
So you're gonna
I need to dig deeper into this album. You know, thank you for the gift of your smile. Thank you, and we're so just grateful for you waking up in the middle of the night.
So sweet. Thank you for being my first interview today and being so nice to
Well,
me.
the next one will pale in comparison.
Absolutely.
Might as well just go ahead and cancel that stupid thing. Yeah. All our best to Blake, even though this is about you with us today. And we're always here whenever you always have a seat at this table.
Thanks for playing my husband's music all this time.
You got it, Gwen, of course. All right.
Okay, you get to choose the order in which we play these. I have somebody else's, and I have Bouquet. Which one do you want to hear first?
Let's do Bouquet just because that's the title track of the whole, and then we can go negative after that.
It's okay. Well, you'll be in a car being whisked away when we're going to go down the
I've
track.
never heard this song on the radio. So
Oh,
yes.
oh,
This is
do we have any
exciting.
video going here? Okay, we love to get video or photos.
It sounds different on the radio. When you
I
played
know.
Blake's song, it sounded like a freaking hit.
Well, I'll
all
tell
of
you
a
what
sudden. I was
happened.
like, what?
Here's what happens. We send the sound from here down the hall to, we call it the meat grinder.
Okay.
And it changes everything, and it comes back and plays out on the air. It sounds different. We've had artists come in and go, my entire guitar solo is hidden. I can't hear it anymore.
Oh, no.
The meat grinder. So I hope we hear your vocals on this.
I hope so, too.
This is not good. So thank you so much for coming in, Gwen.
Thank you for having me.
Gwen Stefani, Bouquet is the
Thank you
album.
to everyone that's listened to my music all these years. I love you, bye.
Not only is your smile infectious, but your smell is delicious.
See?
And this is Bouquet. Gwen Stefani, everyone.
Yeah.